بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Indeed, all praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, seek His aid, and ask His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils of ourselves and from the evils of our actions. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can misguide. And whomsoever Allah misguides, none can guide. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except for Allah alone, having no partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad is a slave and his messenger. Amma ba'd. To proceed, very the best of talks is the Quran, and the best of guidance, the guidance of His messenger Muhammad, may peace and blessing be upon him. And very the most evil of all matters are the ones innovated, for every newly innovated matter in Islam is an innovation, and every innovation in Islam is a misguidance, and every misguidance will lead to the hellfire. First of all, I do apologize for saying that the class is going to be 7:30, but today I deliberately postponed the class until now because we want to target as many people as possible. The ones who normally do not come to the prayer, to the class, we do come to the prayer. The prayer of the Maghrib is very soon, inshallah. So that is why I deliberately, as I said, for this class, I have made it as late as possible. And the class, as those who are coming to the class, they know that for tonight we're going to be describing the prayer of the Prophet ﷺ. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah will put barakah into the time, because my demonstration is going to be different from the demonstrations that I have seen onto the YouTubes and all of that. But I'm going to be pointing out the mistakes in every single act of the prayer, which, according to what I believe, that I thought that they need to be addressed. So if it is not going to be possible to do everything in this class, we'll make it in two classes. This one, this Ithnain and the following Ithnain. But we'll see, inshallah. And as you know that we have been commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet of Allah in the hadith, which is hadith in Sahih Bukhari, "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli," pray as you have seen me pray. Now we haven't seen the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam praying, but we have the information regarding his prayer in every single minute details. So we know every single act that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had done, with some of the cases where we do have an ikhtilaf, or sort of a difference among the scholars. So inshallah, the issue is going to be, I'm going to be doing the explanation, and I will have someone to demonstrate for me the correct prayer. So I will be talking about the prayer while somebody will be doing what I'm going to tell him to do. So we're going to be volunteering from the doctor, inshallah. Okay. Not now, when I tell you to stand up, we'll demonstrate for us. It's going to be straight after the prayer of the Maghrib. But I need to make, first of all, an introduction for the prayer. Hopefully the prayer is the second pillar of Islam. It's after the Shahadatayn. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put so emphasis on the prayer that He called upon the people to pray more than 250 times into the Quran. So the prayer is being called on for a lot of times, and that is why the person needs to make sure that he not just do the prayer on time, but also make sure that the quality of his prayer is correct. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Inna al-'abda la yusalli 60 'aman, la tuqbalu lahu salah." The person, he would pray for 60 years, and the number 60 here is attached to two things. Number one is that the age of the Ummah Muhammad ﷺ, bayna 60 wa 70. And people will start praying after they're 10 years old. So if they lived 70 years, that means 60 years. Number two is that whenever you correct somebody in his prayer, the Arabs would normally say to you that if he doesn't want to listen to what you're saying, he would say, "Sarli 60 sana basar, I have been praying for 60 years. You're coming to teach me what is the prayer." So that 60 number is very important. So whenever you teach him something, he says, "I'm being 60 years praying. You teaching me now to pray?" But actually, you could be praying 60 years. None of your prayers accepted. You cannot really put an excuse for yourself that, "Oh, I didn't know." Well, if you didn't know, why didn't you learn? Why don't you sit down to learn your deen, just like you were keen to make sure that your profit is very big, maximizing your dunya profit. So why don't you just sit down to learn to do the prayer? So the prayer is not just handed down from a father to the mother, unless the father and the mother have been linked to the correct sharia, to the correct information. Otherwise, you're going to be, doing something which is wrong. And some of the people, even they can't do the pillars of the prayer properly. Like, for example, the wash, the wudu, the ghusl, and all of that. I'm not going to discuss the wudu and the ghusl, because that is separate. Tonight is for the prayer. So whatever is linked to the prayer in general, we need to know that when you come to the prayer, you need to make sure that you are doing it for the sake of Allah. This is the ikhlas to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not doing it because you're scared of your parents. You're not doing it because you want the people to say that you are a person who's abiding to the prayer. You're doing it for the sake of Allah. So that is a very important issue. Number two issue is that when you are doing it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you are making munajah. So you are doing it with the one whom you're supposed to worship and love at the same time. And that's Allah the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to preoccupy yourself only with the prayer and empty your mind with anything to do with the dunya. For very long, for the fact that some of the people, they start doing their calculation for the dunya into the prayer. So the best time for them to think about the dunya is in the prayer. So no, you have to divorce the dunya completely when you are in the prayer and you are with the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember, Allah Azza wa Jal, لا يزال الله عز وجل مواجها لعبده. He's in front of his slave. He's in front of you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in front of you when you pray. So He's watching. So if He's watching you, you need to watch yourself and what you do. You need to make sure that you're praying wholeheartedly. Everything that you do is following the Prophet's instructions. When you pray, istiqbal al-qibla, make sure that you are ready towards the qibla. Now these days we've got smartphones. We do the calculation for the qibla direction. Now, if you haven't got that, if you're living in this country, I've told a number of brothers that unfortunately the satellite dishing all of the places now towards the qibla, because I think I don't know what it's pointing to, but the sky and all of that, they point towards the qibla. If it's just towards the satellite direction, but slightly to the left. I'm not making a comparison here. You're not praying to a satellite dish, but you're praying according to the direction that will help you. Because you know that for a fact, lots of people will not be able to help you if you ask them about the qibla, because they're not Muslims, and few massages as well around. So that is as well for you to learn. So you just look at any house, look at the satellite dish, put your back to the satellite dish, turn slightly to the left, just slightly, and that is the qibla 100%. Right. This is the istiqbal al-qibla is one of the shurut of the salah. Another shart as well for the salah, the person needs to be on wudu, and needs to be as well clean in his body and clean in his clothes. So the clothes, body, and the place. So there's no excrement or urine into your body or into your clothes or into the place that you pray. Also, make sure that when you pray that you are covering your awrah. The awrah for a man in the prayer is not just between the navel and the knees, but actually include the navel. So it's not between the navel and the knees, it's actually include the navel and up to the shoulders. So covering the shoulders all the way down to the navel is actually the awrah of the man. So in the man, awrah in the prayer. Outside the prayer is no problem. Between the navel and the knees, that's your awrah. But in the prayer, you need to cover the navel and all the way up to the two shoulders. As for the woman, her awrah is all herself except for the face and the two palms, not the hand, the palms. So the two palms are not awrah in the prayer, and actually the women, if they are praying with their maharim or on their own, and they are from the ones who cover their hands and cover their faces, we say to them, don't cover your hands, don't cover your faces, unless you are in the presence of somebody who is non-mahram, and you are a person who covers both. So covering the face is disliked for a woman if there is no mahram. If there is mahram there and there is no strangers there, you should really uncover the face for the prayer. And also you need to make sure that you're praying towards the sutra. And this is the sutra. I've just seen a person praying this to me just a moment ago, and he thinks that he's praying to a sutra, but the sutra is not just the height-wise, it's actually the distance between you and the sutra. So for example, that you are praying towards the wall, towards the leg of the table, towards the, for example, the stand of a microphone, towards the back of your brother, towards the trunk of a tree, towards a wall, for example, of the house, or towards the wall of the qibla of his masjid. You need to make sure you are not far away from that. How far should be? That is, when you prostrate, your head is supposed to be leaving a gap between the wall and your head about half a meter, which is the passage of a sheep. Meaning, I'm not really knocking with my head that pillar, that wall, that back of your brother. No, I'm not knocking it. I'm not really touching it, nor I'm too far away from it. So it's just a gap of a half a meter, like that. That's the gap I need to leave between the prostration of my head and the wall. And usually the Prophet of Allah, he would leave between himself and between the wall, dhira' wa nisf, it's about 1.5 meters, that is between him and the wall. So when he prostrates, usually his head will come between him and the wall, the distance between the sheep passage. The sheep passage is about half a meter, like that. So remember to have the sutra and not to pray between them. If you're praying towards the table, don't pray to the middle of the table, pray to the legs of the table. If you're praying with the chair, the same thing, take the leg of the chair, not the middle of the chair. Okay, so that's important as well. Now, there are cases which we explained regarding sometimes you're not capable of doing something. Like for example, you're not capable of removing a dirt from your body. Don't worry. If you can't remove it, you pray as normal. If you haven't able to do the qibla, you do your best and you pray. And you found out later on you were not towards the qibla, don't worry about that. Okay, so all of that. But if you have prayed without wudu, and you remembered while you're in the prayer, then you have an option here. That is, if your wudu place is not far away, to make wudu and continue the prayer. Even the first part of your prayer was not with wudu is accepted. But if you have finished the prayer and then you remember that you're not in wudu, then you must make the prayer again. So if you have remembered while you're making the prayer, you could just stop the prayer and make the wudu, come back and continue, as we have discussed the proof from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, hadith of Abi Bakr radiyallahu anhu wa arda. The person may pray with his shoes, there's no problem about that. And praying with his shoes, of course not in the masajid, because in the masajid, the people will not really tolerate such a thing. But if you are in a place where, like an airport or whatever, you don't need to take off your shoes. So you pray with your shoes on, and if you feel comfortable with that, as long as the shoes haven't got any dirt. That means that I'm talking about the impurities in them. Right, now Prophet ﷺ one day he prayed on top of the pulpit, and we explained that. He prayed on top of the pulpit to teach the people. I'm not going to be praying on top of the pulpit. Okay? I'm not going to let the doctor pray on the top of the pulpit. So I will make him to pray on the floor, and while you are watching after we finish, inshallah, I'm not going to pray straight away. Now, the person needs to know that when he's praying towards the sutra, he should not be letting anybody to pass in between him and the sutra. But if anybody had passed, then you don't have to worry, because you tried your best, you couldn't. But the person who has got no sutra, if any of those, the following three things that pass between him and his prostration spot, like the women, and which is the adult one, or the black dog and the donkey, then his prayer will be invalid, he has to pray again. So those people who've got sutra, they don't have to worry about who's going to be passing between him and his sutra, as long as he's prevented. But the ones who hasn't got the sutra, then you have to watch out, because if anybody, number one, you have sinned. Number two, you're jeopardizing the prayer. Any person who passes between you and your prostration spot, if he's none of these three that I mentioned, which is the woman, black dog, and donkey, then if it's anybody else, then it will be halving your prayer. All half of the reward of your prayer is already gone. Now, coming to the prayer, when you come towards the qibla, so you're facing the qibla, and you're going to make takbirat al-ihram. So we'll start with that, takbirat al-ihram, and we'll, as I said, it's coming up to 17, it's 18, isn't it? Yes, 18 the other. And the Muaddin says yes. Right. So takbirat al-ihram, face the qibla, and you're going to make takbirat al-ihram. Takbirat al-ihram has to be done when you are standing up. Has to be done when you're standing up. You may not do Takbirat al-Ihram for Fard prayer unless you are standing up. Unless you are not capable of standing up, and we will inshallah demonstrate after the prayer. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala wa ala man tabi'a hudah. The Sifat al-Salah, description of the prayer of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in al-Takbir al-Taslim. This is the last class in which we will be demonstrating what we have learned all the way through the classes that, alhamdulillah, they had some people attending them, but we need to make a demonstration for the prayer and also point out mistakes, the common mistakes that the people they fall into, and they believe this is part of their prayer. And every time we make a movement of the prayer, we will see what are the mistakes, and plus we will see what your questions are. So we're not going to go to another movement until we satisfy every position. That is the best approach, I think. If anyone would want to have something which is to on the YouTube to look at, I have seen maybe the Sheikh Muhammad Salih al-Munajjid. He had put on the YouTube, and I looked at it myself. There are things that he had skipped because you know there is ikhtilaf, and especially the one which is putting the right on the left after the ruku', did not talk about it. But a few things there, I would say maybe it is the best. And actually he is applying the book of the Sheikh Nasir al-Din al-Albani rahmatullah alayhi. So in that book, he had, in that demonstration, he had, alhamdulillah, managed to put a lot of things. We will inshallah do the same, but we maybe add things as well to that YouTube, I think, YouTube episodes. Right, start with the, first of all, as we have mentioned now, istiqbal qibla, covering the awra, and all of that, and then come to the Takbir al-Ihram. So I would like to, the doctor. Right, is the person towards the qibla, and all the time, whether he is making Takbir al-Ihram or in the actions of the prayers, he will be looking at the place of prostration. So when he makes Takbir al-Ihram, he is looking at the place of the prostration. So, what are the two? There are one position where you need to look at somewhere else, and that is in the tashahhud. You look at your finger. That is in the tashahhud, look at your finger, but the rest, you always look at the what? Prostration spot. So, what is the prostration spot? Now there. That's where you're going to be doing Takbir al-Ihram. Allah. So, you're not going to do Allahu Akbar. He's not looking at the qibla. He's looking at the prostration place. The second place where there is no proof to say where he is looking, and that is in the ruku'. In the ruku', he could be looking between his legs, he could be looking where straight down, but we don't have a proof to say where he's looking. Apart from that, is all the time his eyes locked onto his prostration place. This is aqrabu ila al-khushu', closer to the humility between the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he is now going to be looking at the prostration spot and making Takbirat al-Ihram by saying Allahu Akbar, and there is no exception except for Allahu Akbar. And he's going to say Allahu Akbar or Allahu Akbar. So, and then his hands, they're going to be not really tight like this, not fully. So it's not madmumat al-asabi' like this, and it's not like that, and it is as well stretched up. They're not really they're tight. That means they're not bent. So this is the way to say it. Okay, so it's not really close together. So it's just like normal. Don't be extreme. So it's not like that. It's not like this. It's just normal. And the way to raise it up, it's going to be either with your, that is your thumb. Okay, the thumb of yours is equal to your shoulder, or it's equal to your earlobe. Your shoulder or to your earlobe. It's not like this and like that. I've seen the videos, some of the videos are maybe demonstrated wrongly. It's like this or like that. It's not like this and like that. No, it's like this or like that. That is the Takbir al-Ihram, and it's facing your palm towards the Qibla. So this Takbir al-Ihram is accompanied with Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar is either before or after, but directly. That means Allahu Akbar, raise up the hands. You don't say Allahu Akbar and wait. So it's Allahu Akbar, raise up your hands. Or raise up the hands and then say Allahu Akbar. All together, Allahu Akbar. With this. Allahu Akbar. So do that, doctor, please.
Allahu Akbar.
So that's the first one. Okay. I want your hand just a bit straight, just like straight, yeah, stretched properly. Allahu Akbar. So do it now. Raise and then say Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
That's together. Now I want you to raise, put down, and then say Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
That's it. So these are the three positions. Now we want now to demonstrate the mistakes, and after that I'll give you what you're going to ask me about. Mistakes regarding this, and the people, they do the following. And I'm going to do stream, I'm not going to make you laugh for the sake of the laugh, but this is what the people, they do. The people they do in Allahu Akbar, they do like this. Okay? Like that. I've seen them putting their hands, they would like me to show me as well, to show the camera. So show the camera for me. Show the camera, like that. And people even would do like this. They have to touch their earlobe with the what? With the thumb. Okay, that's the thumb. Do that. That is, I've seen, and this is the people trying to do the best. But the ones who are not careless, that's something else. Those people just go like this. They just flick their arms like that. So flicking their arms. Like this. Not even this, no fingers they're strapped up, nothing. This. So that is as well a person who is not caring. Person who is ignorant, he will, which is the person who doesn't know, but ignorant but too much. I've seen him doing like this. So he's actually twisting his ears. And he thinks it goes in the way. Allahu Akbar. So, doctor, maybe I will do that demonstration for the wrong things. You just do the correct one. Just like Allah khair. Because I don't want to make fun of you. Okay. So, this is wrong. This is wrong. Okay. Some people, they say, Allahu Akbar. Like they just hardly lift up his hand. Allah. Yeah, actually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is before you and He's watching. So I need to make it sure that I will Allahu Akbar or Allah. So I could see myself, preparing myself for the prayer. It's a prayer. I'm making my communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty. Allahu Akbar is without stretching. So it's not Allahu Akbar. That's not right. Allahu Akbar. That's not right. So stretching, that Allahu Akbar, there is no mudud in it. It's Allahu Akbar. So it's not Allahu Akbar, it's not Allahu Akbar, it's not like that. It's Allahu Akbar. And it's not Allahu Akbaru. Allahu Akbar, because it finishes with the ra, and it's jazm. Allahu Akbar. Right. After that, Takbirat al-Ihram, we're going to ask you, what do you want to ask me regarding it? So what is your question before I go to the second? Please don't reverse. If you have any questions now, if you forgot to ask me, then you have to wait until the end of the prayer. Do you have any question regarding the Takbirat al-Ihram? Fadl.
Like, you just demonstrate some people just do this and literally don't even raise their hands above the waist.
Yeah.
How do you advise these brothers?
Those people who do not raise up their hands, not even up their waist like this, how do you advise these brothers? I would advise them, tell them first of all, you are standing before your Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, and imagine that Allah is watching you. Are you going to be doing like this to Him? Is this a communication? Number two, you need to tell them that we have to pray as the Prophet of Allah taught us how to pray. Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Number three, take it easy on him, because that maybe he's a person who is just having the iman and the So I would like to boost his iman rather to stop him from praying totally. Okay? Do you have any other questions? Further? Please, questions are very important to be directed to that thing now.
Some people, they raise they make their arms really wide.
Okay, raising up the hands wide, which is exaggeration. We're going to talk about exaggeration. That's not right. So doing like this, Allahu Akbar. That's not right. So exaggeration, making so much distance between the two hands, that's not right. So it's like this. So my hands goes like where they are. So I'm not doing like this, nor I'm doing like this. I'm doing this is my hands really. That or Allahu Akbar, like this. So I see, I remember saying Allahu Akbar, that's wrong as well. Allahu Akbar, jazm. Like, uncle.
You demonstrated 3 ways of raising your hand.
To who? To your uncle? To you? Oh, because we showed it to the people. To you? Can you see me? No, to everybody, they've seen it, uncle. They have seen the 3 demonstrations. because we're going to do it again, they're going to be taking time. So we've got the video as well to watch it. So the Takbirat al-Ihram, we said, because we're going to repeat that Takbirah anyway, it's going to be with or before or after. So I'll just do it quickly. Allahu Akbar, that's with. Allahu Akbar, that's after. Allahu Akbar, that's before. Okay, those are the three ways of doing it. Now we're coming now, after I say Allahu Akbar, my hands go automatically onto the position of the cup. So I'm not going to say, so say Allahu Akbar and go to the position.
Allahu Akbar.
Okay, I'm just sorry about that. Everybody switch off your mobile or ringer. Okay. This is now, he's putting now straight away to the right, to the left. I'm going to mention that in detail to the right, to the left in a minute. But he went like this. What is wrong from the people? Is that some of the people, they go Allahu Akbar down and then they put up. Do that the wrong thing, please, doctor?
Allahu Akbar.
Some people, they do like this. And that's not right. Okay, so you go straight away what? To the... Okay. This as well is only to be done when you are at the beginning of the prayer or you're entering and joining the Imam in his beginning of his prayer. But if the Imam in his ruku', you make Takbirat al-Ihram as we have said, but you do not put your hands on the right or the left. So you're going to put your hand what? Down. So now, let's say the Imam is in the ruku', I'm in the ruku', he's going to now catch up with me. So I'm in the ruku'. What are you going to do, doctor?
Allahu Akbar.
And another Allahu Akbar for ruku'. Correct. So he's not going to put the right or the left. So if you are yourself praying, then you say Allahu Akbar, then straight away right to the left. That is for qabd, we call it. But if you are following the Imam, you only do this if the Imam is in the what? In the standing position, reciting the Fatiha. But not in the standing position which is Sami Allahu liman hamid. Not in the sitting position, not in the ruku' position. If it is in the ruku' position, or the sitting down position, or even the standing up position, but not the recitation, but Sami Allahu liman hamida, then we say Allahu Akbar and putting down the hand. Now we don't put it like this. So we're not going to Allahu Akbar and then Allahu Akbar. No. So this is only for what? For recitation of the Fatiha and the Surah. It is not for a person doing like he thinks this is the Rafa'. So the Rafa', this is the Rafa'. After the Rafa', I'm going to do according to the position after. After what is it? It's going to be what? Recitation of the Fatiha. I do like this. So. Okay? So not like this. Okay? Again, it's not like this. You understand what I'm saying? Just stay away. Allahu Akbar, straight up. Right, now when I'm putting my right on the left, we're going to now tell you and we'll open the question inshallah. Right on the left now at the moment, the right position for that. The right position for that is that al-yumna, processing the yumna. Al-yumna is a hand. And this hand could be from there up to the elbows. It's not just the calf. This is where the mistakes comes, even some of the da'is. This is the hand. When it goes onto the ظهر الكف اليسرى, the back of your left hand, الرسل, which is the wrist, and the forearms. So this is the hand. So it goes like this, or like that, or like this, all the way up to here. So all of that is allowed. What is not allowed, I'm going to show you in a minute. So this is allowed, all of it like this. So with my hands, and the sabi' is madmuma. Madmuma means together. The fingers are together, and they are all the way like this. So this is the position for my reciting. Now this is, you cannot find it in the Shaykh al-Munajjid. I really was surprised. So this is the way, or this is the way, no problem. So this is the way, or that way. Now, again, do it, doctor, please. You know, forget about the things haram. You go like this. It's not just like this. So this is go down and do it like this, all the way. Yes. So I would like you, because the camera can't see me, I would like you to move your. Yes. That's right. Jazakallah khair. Because you're doing this and the camera can't see you. Then you do it again. So don't just everybody look at it, please. So the people who are not from this side could look at this side, for that side look at me. So I'm like that. Okay? Right, so this is up. And I could do like this, okay, up to here. And there's another one which is qabd. Qabd means hold. So I'm going to hold. This is holding. It's not holding like this. This is the Hanafi, they do it. It's not right. This is right. This is the qabd. 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 Okay? This qabd, I could do it here, I could do it even here. Because qabd. But now, this is what is the mistake in these things? The mistake that the people they do. Number one, demonstrate after, like that. That's not right. So this is not right. Second mistake is the one which we said, the Hanafi, because depending upon a hadith, which is not authentic, like this, which is combining between grabbing and stretching. That's not right. It's either this or that. Third mistake is this, which is al-kaffu ala dhahr al-kaff. That hasn't been made. It has to touch the wrist and the forearms. So if you're doing like this, that's not right. It has to be at least like that. And then you could go forward. Okay, so not like that. The other mistake as well is the people where they don't put it on the chest. They put it below the chest. The chest is this area where your breast, even the female, no different from the male, same thing. Okay, this is the chest. It's above your stomach, above your abdomen. So the wrong thing is to go down to the navel, or even below the navel, even onto the aura. That is really a very shameful act to do it. People putting on the aura like that. You know, that's not really right. So that's a mistake. Also from the mistake that people exaggerate to put it up to the neck. And this is not really right as well. From the mistakes as well, those people who put their hands on the side. There's two people that do that. The old Malikis and the Rafidah. And Rafidah, they pray like this, Shia. That's not right. So right on the left. Inna ma'shara al-anbiya umirna an nada'a aymanana 'ala al-shimal. We the prophets have been commanded to put the right on the left. From the mistakes as well, as-sal. Ikhtisar, like that. Or, look at him. Or, putting the right on the left, on the waist, like this. Okay? Or on the side. So that's not right. So this way, or that way, that's not right. Or this way. Does people do like this? Yes. From the ways which is common, this way. On the heart. So they're putting on the heart, that's not right. So it's to be in the middle, and up, or all the way there. But not like that. Not like that. Okay. So alhamdulillah, now we have demonstrated this. I think I've done all the mistakes, but if you have put the hands down, please, any question regarding this one? Father. If you've been pushed, don't hold. Just push. Don't hold. Being pushed. But I think even being pushed, because if you're being pushed, this will be quite parallel to your body. You don't want to be pushed to be like this in the prayer. Some people do like that. You're not even facing the Qibla. It's not right. You have to do like this. So your shoulders is the maximum. So there's no such thing squeezing more than that. Squeezing up to the shoulders, but no squeezing to the extent that I do like this in the prayer. That's not right. Okay, that's not right. So in the case of too much squeeze, it's, like really tight, but not tilt. And the much squeeze, it could really prostrate on the back of your brother. Okay, but you can't prostrate on top of the whole of your brother. Okay, so there's squeeze and there's extreme squeeze. That's not right. Now. I think if you do like this, don't take it away. Alhamdulillah. It's not right. It's not right. You don't have to go to this one. Nah. You could do like yes. You could do like that. Yes. Now, if you had broken arm and you had one arm, So when you, if you've had one, so a broken arm which is held like this in your neck. Takbirat al-ihram will be done with what? One. Whether the right or the left, according to what you're able. Okay? So if your arm is being held like this, Allahu Akbar. Sorry, Allahu Akbar, and then it's going to be the right or the left underneath it. If you couldn't put the right underneath the left, if you couldn't, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. You do as much as you can. So you could just put it like that. If you couldn't put it on top of, if you couldn't put it underneath it, put it like that. Just beside it. As much as you can. If you can't, because I know that the ones who are hanging to the neck, they've got slight movement. They're not stuck to the chest. You could just slide it underneath. But as I said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah as much as you can. Any other questions, please? Further?
You know, when you hold it, does it have to be exactly on where the area of the breast is, or can it be just like
The breast is not the area, it's the chest. The chest is the breast and a bit below. The chest is above your, see that? Above your stomach. Above your stomach. Now, that's the chest area. The chest area is not really limited to that breast. Further?
Can you change in between gripping?
Can I change in between gripping and that? You should not be changing while you're doing it. So you can't just do like this while you're praying. That's not really a person who is calm. So a person doing like this every time, no, you can't. But let's say that you've prayed and then suddenly the second rak'ah, a bit tight, you went like this a bit forward, no problem. But you keep changing while you pray like this, that's playing, that's not praying. Okay, anybody else?
Holding the child,
Holding the child, nothing to do with this. It could be holding the child even when you are in your ruku'ah. You hold the child. Holding the child is you hold it as much as you can. You need to hold it. That is because it's crying so much, I can't have nobody to attend him. It's not because I love him so much, I can't, sort of bear to be far away from him. That's not right. You cannot do that. You hold the child because he's crying. You hold the child because you want to be with him to the prayer. No, in the prayer, you be in the prayer. So you hold the child, so you just hold him like that, and I put in my hand on top of him, no problem. Making the ruku', I could put him down, I could hold himself on the ruku'. In the sujood, I can't hold him because he's going to be underneath me. Okay? So, I do as much as I can if I need to hold the baby. Right, now coming after this, stand up. Now when we put Allahu Akbar and with the right on the left, now we're going to recite the following. After Takbirat al-Ihram, we're going to recite the following. First of all, what we call Dua al-Istiftah. Dua al-Istiftah, you got plenty. About 3 or 4 of choice. So the one that most of the people they know, Subhanakallah bihamdik, Tabarak asmuk, wa ta'ala jadduk, wa la ilaha ghayruk. This is the most common one. The meaning, you say that Dua al-Istiftah, if you want more, look into the book. Look into the book. So that's Dua al-Istiftah. This Dua al-Istiftah is to be said in all the prayers, whether voluntary or obligatory, except for one prayer. That is prayer of the janazah. No Dua al-Istiftah. So in Salat al-Janazah, no Dua al-Istiftah. Then after Dua al-Istiftah, you start with al-Isti'adha. And the Isti'adha is as follows. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفخه. You could add أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفخه. So you got short version and the longer version. But none of them is أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم on itself. It has to be من همزه ونفخه ونفخه. And this isti'adha differs among the scholars. Is it every rak'ah or is it just the first rak'ah? Correct opinion for me is every rak'ah, because every unit in its own. But you'll find, as I said, difference of opinions between the scholars. And Shaykh al-Albani, he is supporting that in every rak'ah there is isti'adha, because each unit in itself is a unit, rak'ah. So isti'adha in each rak'ah. After that, you start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is to be said silently, whether in the loud or the silent recitation, whether it's in the Maghrib, or the Isha, or the Fajr, or Dhuhr al-Asr. Now, if you need to make it loud for the sake of people they don't know, you make it, once in a while. Once in a while. You need to make it, for example, the people they learn to learn. But if it's a silent prayer, you just raise up your voice a bit like Bismillah. So just to tell the people there's Basmala as well. So after that, the Basmala is the correct opinion, is to be silent in the loud and in the silent recitation. Also, regarding all of that, which is the saying of the Takbirat al-Ihram, Allahu Akbar, regarding all of this, You need to say them in a very silent place, in a situation. Not unless you're an imam. Allahu Akbar, because you want to make the people to hear about in takbir. But if you're on your own, okay, or you are being led, when the imam says Allahu Akbar, don't raise up your voice. Allahu Akbar. In a way which you don't make yourself hear it. Because people think silent is Allahu Akbar. No, yeah, well, you will disturb me if I'm next to you. So it's not, no, it's movement of the tongue. So you have to move your tongue. You have to move your lips. But you cannot make a sound. So in the silent prayer, or you are behind the imam, especially in Takbirat al-Eid, people that make Takbirat al-Eid like they're going to jihad or war. You know, says Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, all of them, Allahu Akbar. Huh? That's not right, actually. It's like silent, like moving the tongue. This is just it, Allah. Not even, that's not right. People that make the shout, the next day you can't even make tahiyyat. You can't even concentrate on your tahiyyat. You have to listen to his own. Or you wait until he's finished. Or you do it with him. Problem. So it is moving of the tongue. But you can't do like this. What are you doing? I'm reading the Fatiha. What, in your mind? You cannot read the Fatiha in your mind. If you did like this, your prayer is invalid. So you have to move your tongue. And the Fatiha, correct opinion, is Ummul Kitab. You have to recite it. According to the Hanafi madhab, if you did not recite it, it will be sin, but your prayer is valid. No, it's wrong. It is invalid. If you did not recite the Fatiha, it's invalid. When it is not compulsory to read the Fatiha, if you have been led in the prayer, and in the Imam is in the loud recitation. If he's reading the Fatiha, the loud recitation, you listen. You don't read Fatiha. But if it's in the silent recitation, if you are behind the Imam, you have to recite the Fatiha. Second position is when the Imam is in other than the upright position, like in the ruku' or whatever. So in Sami Allah Hamida, or he's in the prostration. You come, there is no Fatiha on you. So if he's in the ruku', you say Allahu Akbar, and then Allahu Akbar when you're going down. And you make sure you say the first Takbirat al-Ihram, fully standing up. If people did that, Allahu Akbar, so quick that their back was bent, slightly, one of the words Allahu Akbar, one of the letters was set when you're going down, because you want to catch up with the ruku'. In order to catch up with the rak'ah, you lost the whole prayer. You have to do Allahu Akbar fully standing up. Then the second ruku', takbirah, there's no problem to say that when you are going down. But the first one, takbiratul ihram, as we said, you have to make it what? Standing up. Even if you're a person who's like on the chair like the uncle, but you could stand up, he cannot make the takbiratul ihram while he's sitting on the chair. He has to stand up, unless he can't. So takbiratul ihram, and then, so now we have explained, alhamdulillah, up to the recitation of the Fatiha, which is the Fatiha is very important to recite it, and to recite it in the position if you are on your own, or you are the Imam. There is no recitation of the Fatiha if, for example, that you are catching up with the Imam in the ruku', or you are in the loud recitation of the Imam. You don't recite the Fatiha, you listen to the Fatiha. Alright? Okay. Before I continue, any other question? Further.
You know, for example, when you recite the Fatiha, for example, you know certain letters, like the Ha, how are you going to pronounce it if you just moving your lips and your tongue? Or am I
When you recite the Fatiha, you don't make a sound. You don't have to say the Ha with a sound in order to bring the Ha out. So I don't understand what the question is. So I'm ready now, Al-Fatiha. So I'm not really, I don't need to say, so I'm not ready to, man. There's something wrong with the person. No need to do that. So it's not a bit silent. Just let me bring the smile in your faces. Fine, follow.
You know when you recite the Fatiha, the Imam's going down to
The uncle. Yes.
you finish the Fatiha, or you go down to
If the Imam is in the ruku', oh, so you joined the Imam from the beginning, and the Imam, he had made the ruku' and before he said the Fatiha. I would say to you, quick with the Fatiha. Do the quick with the Fatiha. Because if you could catch up with the ruku', do the quick Fatiha. But if you think your Imam is supersonic, he's going to be on the ruku', then I would say skip the Fatiha because his mistake is on him. Your mistake is on him, not on you. Because you want to catch up with the Imam. إِنَّمَا جُعِلَ الْإِمَامُ لِيُتَمَّ بِهِ. Please, I want the questions which are important so we could really go ahead.
Regarding takbir al-ihram saying fully standing, if you are traveling, seeking, how it will?
If you're traveling,
Yeah.
if you are traveling in a car, you have to stop in order to pray. You are obligatory. You can't pray in the car. You're obligatory. But if you are in a plane, you can't park the plane and you can't ask the pilot to stop. But I would say to the people this following very important information. If your flight after the dhuhr and you have time to pray it on land, don't wait until then you fly. You pray it on land and you combine with the asr. You only pray it on the flight because the flight hours is so much that it's covering the whole time of the prayer. Between dhuhr and asr is already you've been flying. So you came into the flight before dhuhr and you're going to finish after maghrib. But if you had time in the airport, don't waste it. Don't pray in the plane unless it's a necessity. Because in the plane, you're not allowed to go and stand up. Unless you have, mashallah, you have to stand up, mashallah. But even you're standing up, but you are in between the earth and the land. You're not on a land, basically. And this is, by the way, according to the Hanafi, to Ibn Abdin, your prayer is invalid. Because Ibn Abdin at that time, he didn't know about the plane. He said, if a person prayed in an urjuha, meaning like a swing, which is not hooked to the heaven and which is not hooked to the earth. And that's a plane, by the way. You didn't know about the plane. So if you're praying in a urjuha swing, which is not hooked to the heavens, he's imagining something which is not imagined at that time. Not hooked to the earth, your prayer is invalid. And that's a plane now. You didn't know that there's a plane now. It's not hooked to the heavens, not hooked to the earth. But we say to you, pray on the earth. Unless you forgot, then you pray on the plane. You've slept through the time, no problem. But don't deliberately push it. If you are on that plane, please ask the stewards, please, I want to have a place to pray. There are some Muslims, like for example, if you go to the Jordanians, if you go to the Saudi Arabians, you go to the Egyptian, they got carpets as well at the back of the kitchen. You got a place and to, mashallah, pray and even towards the Qibla. They will tell you where's the Qibla. You've seen that. But if you are in British Airways, you're not allowed. I don't think it's advisable to do that because in the current situation, the current climate as well. So I wouldn't really advise you to do that. So basically,
They allowed me once.
British Airways,
Yeah.
to stand on the front, mashallah, very good. Why were you going to Saudi Arabia?
Now I'm going to Kenya that time.
Okay, Jazakallah. So they allow you to stand. So you have to do it your effort. If they didn't allow you to pray on the chair sitting down, but you have to make an effort to see if I can pray what? Stand. I once prayed on one of the planes, and it was a new one, Dreamliner it's called, the new ones. They had a mashallah back big space at the back. There's a space for me and 2-3 people. We're praying Taraweeh. It was Taraweeh during Ramadan. We prayed Taraweeh. In the back, they had the 2 stewards. He said, I'm going to join you, didn't he? Subhanallah. And it was really fantastic. You know? To find like this. And we went towards the Qibla, mashallah. It's got an area for leading the prayers, like, and it's got a curtain. So just us and him and the thing. Mashallah, tabarakallah. You can't find it everywhere like this. Now, please can we just go quickly because we want to go ahead.
When you pray behind the Imam, in loud prayer, do you need to read Subhanallah or even
If I'm praying behind the Imam, do I need to make the isti'adah? If I'm reading the Fatiha, I need to make the isti'adah.
in loud prayer?
In the loud prayer, you don't need to read Fatiha, so you don't read isti'adah.
And
So if you are in a loud recitation, you don't read the Fatiha, there's no isti'adah, but there is what? Opening, supplication all the time. Very good question. And, which is, yes, dua al-istiftah, you have to do it. Opening, supplication, the first rakah. Dua al-istiftah in the ruku' or in the sujood on it, there is no istiftah. Istiftah is for your recitation of the Quran. So there is no isti'adah, there is no istiftah if the imam is what? In anywhere apart from the recitation place. And even there is no istiftah if you believe you came to a prayer where it is not loud recitation, it's silent, and you don't know when the imam is going to finish. Don't busy yourself with dua al-istiftah. Recite what? Fatiha. But if you know that you are from the beginning of the prayer, plenty of time, dua al-istiftah, isti'adah, and the Fatiha. Alright? So dua al-istiftah is basically for that position, and plus you need to make sure that you have plenty of time to do it behind the imam. Jazakallah khair for those questions. Now we're going back to the, what time is Isha? 22:10? 26?
26
طيارينها مقدر طيب طير يا يلا ها
27 past.
27 طيب يلا الله طيب after the surah, after the Fatiha, we recite the surah. It doesn't matter if it's long surah, short surah, it doesn't matter. But you have to make sure that whatever you recite in the first rak'ah, the second rak'ah, you recite something which is, if it's in the surah, after, not before. So if you're reciting Surah Al-Baqarah, if you start from the middle, then whatever you recite after, it has to be either second rak'ah, either another surah, or verses which are after those verses. It doesn't matter, it has to be linked to those verses, when we think it is better, but not before. Not before. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ. You started from there. And you continue in the Baqarah. And then, second rak'ah is Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ. That's not allowed. Because you have to do synchronizing with the verses. But as for the surahs, no problem. You could recite surah, for example, the first rak'ah, Ali Imran, second rak'ah what? Al-Baqarah. No problem, inshallah. After the surah, after the recitation, now we're going to tell you to make sure that you have 2 moments of silence. When you are an imam, 2 moments of silence. First silence, if you are in loud recitation, which is after the Takbiratul Ihram, and before you recite the Fatiha, then this is the first silence for the people to recite their what? Opening supplication. Dua al-Istiftah. The second one after the total recitation, before ruku', just for the breath taking. So when he finishes whatever he's reciting, just a breath, and then he will go down. So it's not straight away, Alif Lam Mim, Allahu Akbar, ruku'. It's not right. So this light pause, just a slight. It's not as long as the first one. So there is no time pause between the Fatiha and the following surah. And that is, some of the imam, they do it in order to make the people recite what? The Fatiha. We say that if you are behind the imam in the loud recitation, the recitation of the imam is sufficing, inshallah, for you. And the imam doesn't have to leave a gap. If he left a gap, can I recite the Fatiha? I can't say to you no. You could recite the Fatiha. As long as you don't believe the Fatiha, it's a must upon you, because it is in the loud recitation enough for you. In the silent recitation, you have to recite Fatiha. Then Takbiratul Ruku'. Takbiratul Ruku' in the following way, which is Takbiratul Ihram, is exactly. So, it's either with or before or after. Say with, before or after, please. Ruku'. Yalla, doctor. So it's Allahu Akbar. Together. It's Ruku'. And another one. Go down. And that is. So I'm going like this. And then I'm going to say Allahu Akbar. Correct. I'm going to go now say Allahu Akbar and then Allahu Akbar, and then I go to ruku'. Very well done. So this is the 3 ones that done the Takbir al-Ihram is exactly the same. Go to the ruku'. Now when I go to the ruku', I need to make sure the followings are being fulfilled. Number 1, can I just ask somebody who's demonstrate for me, opposite way. But the camera, can you catch it, Irfan? No. Can the camera please catch everybody? Sort of really concentrating on me a bit further away. Would it be possible?
Because I'm going to join you.
All right, okay, khair, inshallah. So please make the ruku' like him. No, just the ruku', not the Takbiratul Ihram, just the ruku'. Okay, the ruku' position. By the way, your hands needs to be. Look at his hands. That's it. His hands, like exactly. There's a bend in it. So you could really make mujaffa between your arms and between your body. It has to be like that, yes. Right, this is the ruku'. The ruku', you need to make sure there are, number one, is that you are holding your knees like an eagle club. Eagle, like that. So you're not putting them just tapping onto your knees. Number two, make sure that your head is lined up with your back. So it is not tilted up or down. So go up, please. Both of you, up. No. With your head, just with your head. Look at the doctor. And down. Down, more down, doctor. Sheikhi, more down. Your head, look at it. No, your head down. More down. No, I want it, doctor, wrong. Make the wrong. Down. No, not your bed. No. Just the head. That's it. Go. More. Mashallah. That's it. That's the wrong. We don't want the hat. Forget about the hat now. So we want it to be level with the back. Can you just do that right thing? Please, the right thing. No, that's not right, doctor. You're right. It's not right, doctor. It's not right like this. No.
Right one, left, right one, she said, level with the
Okay.
back.
Can I just ask you, please, to go down back? Here, please. The back. I want you to do ruku'. That's proper ruku'. No, you're wrong. That's the ruku'. Maybe you do it wrong. That's the ruku'. But now, it's a bit back. That's it. That's the ruku'. So if I put water onto this, it will settle. And when I put water, then if you put a cup of water, you've got hadad, mashallah. But you're right, but this is good down. That's better.
Push your shoulders up.
That's better. So that's, I'm still doctor, going up your head. That's it. That's the ruku'. So what is wrong? What is wrong is this way or that way. Okay? So what is wrong is this way or that way. That's wrong, okay? And what is wrong as well? Go down with your back. Go down. That's wrong. People do it. And that is wrong. People do a lot of this like this. Isn't it? Yeah. Like that. So that's wrong as well. The people that do this wrong. Okay, so the position is right. Again, remember your feet and the width between your feet is exactly or almost like your shoulders. So if you're a fat person, then your feet will be slightly a bit far away from each other. If you're a thin person, you'll be slightly, the gap is narrower. But you cannot, if you are thin, to do your feet like that. And you cannot, if you are fat, to do feet like this. That's irritating and is not subtle and is not equilibrium. Because if you're like this and you're fat, you might fall. Okay, and if you're like this, you are thin, people can't really join you with your shoulders. So I have to make sure that I am almost relaxed between my shoulders, the gap, as I say, between my feet. Right. Just a slight bend. This has to be good. Oh, is it happening? Sorry. Sorry about that. Now, the person needs to make sure that his hands are away from his body. So this is not right. See, look, this is not right. He's doing it not right. So it has to be the doctor, the right one. That's right. Relax. So you're looking now either onto the prostration or between. It doesn't matter. But you can't look there because you're going to be raising up your head. You can't look here because you'll be lowering your head. So this is the comfortable way. Anybody now, before I tell you, what do you recite here? Subhana Rabbiyal. Subhana Rabbiyal. Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal. Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal. Azim. 3 times. After they could do as much as you want. Or Subhana Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdih. If you want more, then you have to go to the book and. Any other questions?
Does someone have to say to catch the ruku when it's behind the imam?
How much from the adhkar you need to catch up in order to catch up with them? If you caught up with the ruku', you caught up with the rak'ah. How much of the ruku' I need to catch up with in order that I will be catching up with the whole unit? As long as I can say Allahu Akbar for Takbir al-Ihram, and then Allahu Akbar for the second ruku', and then I touch with my hands the knees, then I caught up with the ruku'. Do you understand that? The bowing. So if I made Allahu Akbar, Takbir al-Ihram, And then Allahu Akbar for the ruku'. And then I went to my knees and I touched my knees before the Imam said Sami'a. Then I caught up with the ruku'. And if I caught up with the ruku', that rak'ah will be counted for me. That rak'ah. But as I said a number of times, if the Imam is in the ruku', please make sure that you make your takbirat al-ihram in the upright position, not even a single letter to fall while you're going down. Fully up. And don't do like this, we said, Allahu Akbar, and down. So that's how to be fully up. And make sure that you don't run. You don't run. You just come slowly. Because you don't want to jeopardize your prayer. Now, from the sunnah that we have learned, which is a controversial among the scholars, that is, if the Imam is in the ruku' and you entered from the masjid, okay? If you entered, let's say for example from that brother, he's entered, and if the people are in the ruku', it is also recorded from the sunnah that the person makes the takbirat al-ihram from that place and walk while he is making what? Ruku'. Now, can he make the question I've been asked a long time ago, can he make takbirat al-ihram the way which is the other way, the direction of the Kaaba? No, he would face the Qibla, make the takbirat al-ihram, and now he will walk while he's himself is facing where? The Qibla. So if it's sideways, it's going to be sideways here. So you're going to be Allahu Akbar, and they're going to be going reverse, sideways, until he joins the what? The row. So you could make the ihram even before you join the row. If the Imam said, Sami Allahu liman hamida, and you haven't joined the row, don't worry about it. You're caught up with what? The rak'ah. As long as you put your hands onto their knees. This is only when the door is just like this or the outside, but if it's a door like far away, like in Regent Park Mosque, and they are in the people in the first, second row, and you're entering from the gate, you're going to be maybe making sujood before you join the row. So it's not right to go make the ruku' from that position. So it has to be a reasonable distance, basically. A reasonable distance. And this is will take you about 5 to 10 seconds to join in. Not 1 minute or 30 seconds. Now, but I don't think we're going to continue because 27. Now.
The elbow has to be straight or bended
For what?
for the ruku'.
The ruku' has to be elder. The ruku', I need to make sure that my arms are away from my sides. And I can't make them away from my sides unless I have to slightly bend them. Because I can't make them away from my sides that they are straight. Okay? But at the same time, you have to bear in mind that your back is to be straight. So if this is going to incline or indicate that it's going to go down with your back because your arms are short or something wrong with them, then I would say to them, do as much as you can. Your back is to be straight. Remember, the ruku' settlements is by the following ways. Your head is in parallel to your back, and you make it the ruku' in such a way that if I put water in there, it will settle. It will not go down on the front. And I'm also in the ruku' position, I need to hook my hand like a claw onto my knees. 3, I need to make sure that they are my arms away from my sides. And my feet in the gap in between them, just almost similar to what has been my shoulders. So all of those would contribute to the itmi'nan, the settlement of the ruku'. Subhana Rabbil Azim, if you said it once, that's enough. But Subhana Rabbil Azim to be said, Subhana Rabbil Azim. But not sub. Because if people say that Subhana Rabbil Azim, they say sub. I don't know what they say. That's not Subhana Rabbil Azim. Subhana Rabbil Azim. At least once. And that would finish your settlement and tranquility for the ruku'. And I think we got 1 minute before Salah. Now.
You're coming from the direction of before the Imam. And the Imam's on the floor. Coming
The other direction.
the other direction.
You have to make takbirat al-ihram towards the Qibla. And then you walk backwards.
Even though you are in front of the Imam.
Yeah, you walk backwards. He's saying, if I, for example, can I join the Imam if I'm in front of the Imam, not the direction of the Imam? I see. Now, the person he needs to know, I cannot pray in any place where I'm in front of the Imam. All right? So he has to be behind. That's a very good question, actually. I've never heard that. So a person, if he is in front of the Imam, He cannot make that, join it in, because he will be behind. So it has to be behind any line behind the imam. And then when he makes it, he reverses back. So he reverses back. Prophet of Allah used to open the door for Aisha while he was praying. But it's all the time facing the Qibla. Now, last question, because 27 now. So, I would say now, inshallah, I will finish now. This is half of the way. Second half, next week, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك